Hi and welcome to Topic Busters from onmaths, and today we're looking at angles. You won't be needing a fishing rod for the angling we're doing. Enjoy! Hi and welcome to Topic Busters from onmaths. So today we're looking at angles. We're going to basically have a dip our feet into all the different types of angles, and what we're looking at is mainly the grade 4 and grade 5 questions. So acute, obtuse, reflex, right angle, you just kind of need to know that before we get started. We're going to look at parallel lines, we're going to look at using a bit of algebra inside this, although I want to do a later video of algebra in turning up in angles, areas, perimeters, things like that. We're going to do that later on. So let's get started. Okay, let's get started. So the first one, we're looking to find x. Now we have a straight line here, and all angles on a straight line add up to 180. So all we need to do on this one is just do 180, take away 105. So we're going to have to nick one off there. So 10 take away 5 is 5, 7 take away 0 is 7, and 1 take away 1 is 0. So it's 75 degrees. We should write x equals. And the reason is angles on straight line add to 180 degrees. Now you've got to be used to writing down the reason, because it's a AO2 category mark, which they're very keen on you explaining what you're doing. So get in the habit of doing it every single time. Sometimes you'll be asked to do a more complex question where you've got to give a reason for each stage of your working out. What I've just put in bracket there could give you one of the AO2 marks. Right, let's move on to the next one. Now here we've got an isosceles triangle, and when an isosceles triangle is this way around, the bottom two angles are going to be equal. So the bottom two angles on this isosceles triangle are going to be 33 times 2, so which is 66 degrees. Okay, and the reason for that is that it is an isosceles triangle. Okay, so we know that that's the reason there, and so to find x we want to do 180 take away that 66, because the bottom two angles are 66. So let's just do a quick subtraction. So let's nick 1 from that 7. So 10 take away 6 is 4, 7 take away 6 is 1, and 1 take away nothing is 1. So that equals 114 degrees. And the reason for that is angles in triangle add to 180 degrees. Okay, so for the last one, now we know that 5x is equal to 55. The reason for that is vertically opposite angles, or just vertically opposite. Now to finish this off, we need to know what x is. So I'm going to do my lines down. I'm going to divide both sides by 5, because that 5x, the 5 in that 5x is a times 5. And so we've got x equals 11 degrees. Okay, have a go. Okay, so for this first one, we want to do 180, take away 40. And so 0 take away 0 is 0, 8 take away 4 is 4, 1 take away nothing is 1. So x equals 140 degrees. Again, angles on straight line add to 180 degrees. Right, this next one, first of all we want to do 61 times 2. And so 60 times 2 is 120, so that's going to be 122 degrees. The reason for that is because it's an isosceles triangle. So that gives us the bottom two angles, and therefore x is going to be 180 minus 122. So 180 take away 122. 10 take away 2 is 8. 7 take away 2 is 5. 1 take away 1 is nothing, is 0. So that's going to be 58. And that's angles in triangle, add to 180 degrees. So it's 58 degrees. Okay, last one. We know that 6x equals 54. And that's because of vertically opposite angles are equal. Let's put our lines going down. So we want to divide by 6 both sides to get rid of the 6. So we just have x equals, and that's going to be 9. Okay, so we're asked to find x. Well, on the first one it's quite easy. They look the same, so if you're going to guess, if they look the same and you don't know the right answer, they probably are the same, and in this instance they are the same. The difficulty is remembering the reason. Now, if you look at the two angles, there's the 110 here and the x there. That looks like the letter F. If it looks like the letter F, call it corresponding. And that's the one word that will get you the marks. Okay, corresponding angles. And these are the same because they're corresponding angles. But actually in most mark schemes, it just, as soon as they see the word corresponding, they'll give you the mark. Now, easy way of remembering that for me is I just put the letter in it. And I remember corresponding. Now please do not write corresponding, but it's just an easy way for me to remember that that's the one with the F. So corresponding. Okay? Right, let's go move on. So this time we've got parallel lines everywhere. Well, actually we can ignore the left and right hand parallel lines. And for this question, all we're interested in is the parallel lines at the top and bottom. We've got an angle here and an angle here, so they're C angles. Now these C angles are slightly more interesting because to find x we need to take the other one away from 180. So we just need to take 40 away. That's going to be 140 degrees. Now the reason for this is always the other one. So you've got the main two corresponding and one which we're not going to talk about just yet. And then you've got this third one. Now the name of this third one could be interior, co-interior, allied. Okay, I prefer interior. But the mark scheme will allow you co-interior, allied angles, or interior. And there's probably a few I don't even know. Those are the main ones though. And I remember interior because they're the ones on the inside. If you have a look, they're inside the parallel lines. Okay, this last one we've got to do a couple of steps. Now, there is no one way of doing this. I would first of all be looking at this angle here. And the way I'd get this angle, which I can call A, I'm going to say to get A, it's just 120 degrees. And the reason is it's because they are corresponding. Okay, now to get x, it's also going to be 120 degrees. This time it's because they're vertically opposite. Now you are expected to write down all the reasons. Don't just be looking for one reason. They also are told on the exam to look at the diagram in case you've marked anything on. Now, without letters like A, B, C, D all over the place, I can't describe that angle, but sometimes you'll be given letters on the diagram so that you can talk about the angles that you found. But as long as you communicate it and use the right words, you'll get the marks. Okay, have a go. Okay, so for this first one, it looks the same, so probably is the same. But I know it's the same because these are alternate angles. And the way I remember that is alternate. Now, please do not write alternate. It's just the way I remember it. I just bung a Z in there. I just remember alternate. Okay, obviously you have to write down alternate, otherwise you don't get the marks. And the corresponding and alternate have to be those words. The other one, the co-interior, allied, interior, whatever you want to call them, you can say any one of those three. Okay, let's move on. So here we know that x is going to be 180 take away 45, and on this question we're looking at the parallel lines at the left and right, and we're ignoring the parallel lines at the top and bottom, so it's just the other way up. So I know that 180 take away 40 is 140, so that's going to be 135 degrees. And the reason is, and again I prefer interior. Don't know why I put a capital A, but anyway. Okay, last one. So I'm going to work out A first. I'm just going to call it A because I've got nothing else to call it. And so A equals 40 degrees because of corresponding. And so therefore x equals, now this time x equals 180 take away 40, which is 140, and that's because it's angles on straight line. Now there are other ways of doing that question. You could do it loads and loads of different ways and you'll always get the mark as long as you've stated every single step and the reason, and obviously you got the right answer. Okay, these are almost like quiz questions. So which regular polygon? Well, what's regular mean? Regular means all the sides and angles are the same. What's polygon mean? It's any shape. So any sided shape is a polygon. Poly meaning many, so it could be anything. Four sides, well, you'd normally write quadrilateral, but a regular quadrilateral will be a square. Exterior angle equals 40. Now, one thing you need to know about exterior angles is they always add up to 360. So if I do 360 divided by 40, which is actually the same as 36 divided by 4, but I'm going to use a calculator. So 360 divided by 40, it equals 9. So it's 9-sided shape. And I've got to think, oh gosh, what's a 9-sided shape? Well, that's called a nonagon. Okay, now this time we're given the interior angle. Now, there are two methods for working this out. The easiest by far is just work out the exterior angle first. Now, one thing you need to know about interior and exterior angles on polygons is they always add up to 180. So if I just say exterior equals 180 take away 135, and again I'm just going to use my calculator, so 180 take away 135, and it's 45. So the exterior angle is 45, and then I'm going to do 360 divided by 45. 360 divided by 45 equals 8. So it's an octagon. Okay, have a go. Okay, so we've got 5 sides, and that is called a pentagon. Just got to know it. If you're a fan of American government, then you'll probably know what that is. Okay, exterior angle equals 36, so it's just all exterior angles always add up to 360. So I don't need a calculator for this one, it's just going to be 10. So that's going to be a decagon. Okay, last one. So I need to work out the exterior angle first. So I need to do 180, take away 120. And again, I don't really need a calculator for that. 60 degrees. And then I want to do 360 divided by 60, which is going to be 6. So that's a hexagon. Now, when I was younger, I always got hexagon and pentagon mixed up. And then someone told me that 6 has an X in it, so therefore hexagon is 6 sides. Pentagon doesn't have an X in it, so the pentagon is 5 sides. Useful tip. Okay, pause the video and have a go on this question. Okay, so for this question, we've got to work out something and then we can work out X. Now, if you have a look around the diagram, we can't work out X at the moment because we've got a quadrilateral, but we've got an angle missing. We've got this angle here missing. So what we need to do is try and find that out. So I'm going to do 180 take away 85, and I'm using a calculator because most of these questions are calculator questions, not all, but most of them. And I'm going to write down what I'm doing. So I'm going to do 180 take away 85, which is going to equal 95. But don't forget, with these types of questions, you'll always be asked to give a reason for your answer. So that's angles on straight line. Okay, now here's the problem. We can't identify what this is by just using the diagram. So what you need to do is just say angle, and it's angle DAB equals. Now there's various ways of writing angle DAB. You can do angle DAB, which is absolutely fine. You can write angle DAB, or some people do DAB with an angle at the top. Now the reason it's angle DAB, because if you look at this angle, to get this angle we go from D to A to B. Now you might argue, well, why can't we call it BAD? Well, you can, that's absolutely fine. But one thing you can't call it is angle A, because are you talking about the 95 degrees, or are you talking about the 85 degrees, or you could be talking about this angle around here. So we say DAB because it highlights the one we're looking for. Okay, so we've got that angle, so we know that that is 95 in there. Now, to do the rest, we need to add the 95 and the 60 and the other 95 together. So I'm going to do that on the calculator. 95 plus 60 plus 95 equals 250. And we need to work out X, so X equals, and we're going to do 360 take away 250. The reason for that is, well, let's write that down in a second. So that's 110 degrees. The reason for that is angles in quadrilateral adds up to 360. Okay, last thing is we can just roughly check that it's roughly 110 degrees. Now we've got to be a bit careful with this because this diagram's never drawn to scale. However, if you're saying it's 5.3 and you can see that it's over a right angle, I would heavily recommend checking or working out. You could be right, it could be massively off with the diagram, but generally speaking they get these diagrams close enough. They don't ever get them perfect, otherwise you could just use a protractor to measure the angles, but normally they're roughly where you'd expect them. So x looks just over 90 degrees and it's 110 degrees. Okay, have a go at this question. Okay, so this question looks quite daunting at first. The first thing to do is just take a step back and just notice what you see. Well, we've got a parallelogram at the top with two pairs of parallel sides, and we've got an isosceles triangle at the bottom, so chances are we're going to be using that. Now, if I just draw a section of this diagram, it might help us out. If I just draw this bit here, the two parallel sides, then you can see that the two angles in here are corresponding. So this angle here, the 40, and this one here are corresponding. So I know that that one is also 40 degrees. So the way of writing that is angle, I'm going to write the word angle this time, angle ABE is equal to 40 degrees. Because they are corresponding. And again, it looks like the letter F, so corresponding, but please do not write that. Okay, now next thing I notice, well, it's an isosceles triangle, so this one also is going to be 40 degrees. So angle, and what is this one, BEA equals 40 degrees. Isosceles triangle. Let's just tidy that up. I say isosceles angle there for a second. Isosceles triangle. So to find out x, we just need to do 180 take away 2 lots of 40, which is going to be 180 take away 80. Which is going to be 100 degrees. Now we haven't put a reason for that, so just angles in triangle. Now that's enough to get 3, 4 or 5 marks, whatever the amount of marks there are in the exam. You'll normally get maybe half the marks for the numbers and for getting the right answer, and then the other half of the marks, or just slightly less than half of the marks, for the written bit, for saying corresponding isosceles triangle, angles in triangle. Make sure you write everything down, because for a full mark answer you need to say every step that you did. Now if you didn't quite do it the same way as me, that's absolutely fine, as long as you've written down the reasons, and I can think of about 5 ways of doing this question. Thank you very much for watching this Topic Busters. If you enjoyed this one and want to see more, please look at our YouTube account. Just type in onmaths on YouTube and we come up. Otherwise, go to the website onmaths.com and you can have a go at all of our predictions, Topic Busters, demon questions, mini mocks and countless other things. Thank you very much.